Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. This is the first matchup of Slivers, Wauki, Mill, and Dina. So, in the past, I know with this new upgrade in terms of being able to see the life counter and having the cards be able to be visible and everything, it's been a big upgrade for me at least. I'm really happy with it so far. However, obviously there have been a few uh, glitches to it, so to speak. We do have an issue with the lighting, and I believe it's because of the way the lights are set up in the room. Whenever I'm walking around the table, I'm casting a bit of a shadow, and so the camera is compensating for that. So it's adjusting how it views the table, so it comes across as being kind of like a wobble with the light. I've moved the lamps a little bit closer to the table here so that I'm not walking in front of them. I'm hoping that's going to help. However, that does make a lot more glare on both of these mats. Before it was really just that one. Now both of these are going to have a lot of glare. That's okay for this one. It's experiment, right? We're going to see if the light bounces a bunch. If not, great. Then I just have to figure out a way to, adjust the lighting so it doesn't glare as much. If it still bounces and stuff as I walk around, then obviously, the positioning of the lamps isn't important. I can put them back where they were, which will help the glare, but we'll figure something else out. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I rolled the dice, and Mill is going to go first. Always a bad thing, because Mill can be pretty powerful if it gets left alone. We're going to play Snow-Covered Island, and then I'm going to tap that for a Codex Shredder, which I just drew. Tap target player mills a card, pay 5 and tap it, sacrifice the shredder, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. I can do this right now, but I'm not going to because there's no point in milling someone without Bruvac on the field to get the bonus mill. We will then pass. Going to play a forest over here. No one drops regrettably for Dina, and we will pass. Over here, draw a card per turn. Playing a Terramorphic Expanse. I will crack that for a green. That's all I can do over here. We're going to go ahead and pass. As you can see, that is a lot of glare on that mountain or forest. You can barely even see it. So, regrettably, we're going to have to. You can't even see the forest over there. My goodness. So, unskilled as always. I don't have a studio. I'm just in a room doing the best I can. So, we will see what happens. I'm going to play a swamp return, tapping that to play Cataract Parasite. So 1/1. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if I have a red permanent, you may have the Parasite deal 1 damage to that player. I don't have a red permanent, so it's not going to be an issue for this round, which is good, but I will have to try and keep track of that. We will then pass. Untap. Upkeep. Draw for turn. Playing a snow-covered island. No 2-drops that I'm going to want to play right now, especially without having Bruvac on the field. So we're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play another forest for turn. And regrettably, since I don't have black, I can't even play Dina. So we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Going to play Evolving Wilds, cracking that one to get, we'll say a blue, so an island. That is all we can do with this turn, I believe. I'm going to pass. All right, I moved that one lamp a little bit just to get that glare off of the far mat. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a command tower. I can attack, of course, but that would leave me open. But nobody has any creatures to attack with, so that's good. Yes, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to swing for 1 damage to, I don't know, I guess Mill. Now they'll probably retaliate by playing Bruvac and milling this character, which is not good, but, gotta get some damage in there first. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Snow-covered island for turn. And yeah, tapping all 3 for Bruvac, the Grandiloquent. 1/4. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. And sure enough, going to tap Codex Shredder, you are going to mill 2 cards now. 1 and 2. All right, but that's all we can do. We will pass. Ah, a swamp. So that is good. Play that for turn. Tapping 2 for Dina, Soul Steeper. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Pay 1, sacrifice another creature. Dina gets plus X plus 0 until end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. I'm gonna be honest, I almost never, ever, ever do that in this deck because that's not what it's built for. It's obviously meant to gain a bunch of life, therefore damaging everybody else, hopefully damaging all opponents at once, and then maybe even getting a infinite combo going off of life gain and damage so that you can wipe out your opponents in one fell swoop. But that is all the lovely Dina can do right now with the nice Halo foil that a friend gave me. Shout out to my friend Clay. And I'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. All right, boys and girls. So let me give you a little lesson in poor magic. Uh, never start a game with less than 3 lands in your opening hand. I'm sure there are, of course, circumstances that would allow for that, and I'm sure some players, depending on how heavily tweaked their decks are, um, will say otherwise. But what I did is I had 2 cracklands, and that was it. So I was like, well, I have 3 draws to draw 1 more land so that I can play the 3-drop mana rocks I have in my hand. I should probably do that. I should be able to do that. Nope. Womp womp. You almost never draw lands when you want to draw lands like that. You always need those, first 3. But I wanted to see. I wanted to do it one more time. Glutton for punishment. You never learn that kind of thing. And so now I do, in fact, have to discard down. I don't have any giant cost spells to get rid of, so it doesn't make with some sort of easy, well, I'll just do this. But we will get rid of Semester's End and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to play a Mountain for turn. Man, still no mana ramp over here, which is bad for Torwauki. Torwauki needs to come out before turn 5, and also ideally have something on the field similar to this, something that's going to damage a player or ideally all opponents, whatever, you play a non-creature spell of some sort, so that his effect can really get going and you drop a bunch of instants and sorceries, deal a whole bunch of damage. So the longer it takes to get him out, the more likely you are going to lose. I can swing. Now everyone except for Slivers has a creature, so I will attack Slivers for 1, leaving myself open to these guys now, but thankfully they are both 1 damages, and that's it. So we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Okay, I'll play Evolving Wilds over here, crack it for a island. Again, I'm still of the mindset that I really do think having an Evolving Wilds, a Terramorphic Expanse, maybe even a Mirrored Landscape in monocolor decks is actually kind of useful. I have personally not really found an instance where it had some sort of crazy detriment to me, where I was like, oh my god, I need a land, and this one comes in tap now. I lose the game. It's a form of deck thinning, sort of. You play the Evolving Wilds, then you crack it and get another land out of your deck, so now you've got 2 less cards in the deck. Theoretically, allows you to get to better cards faster. Whether or not that's really how it works, in terms of the statistics of it, the math, meh. I'm not a math guy. I don't really care about that. I think it seems to work well enough, so I'm going to keep doing it. All right. This is why you don't want Mill going first. So we're going to tap all 3 to play Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with totem mana value 20 or more. Although I don't believe really that's going to trigger with Bruvek because it's not an express amount. You're not saying exile 5 so he makes you exile 10. It's mana value. So actually that's not really the best to go with Bruvek now that I really look at it in play, as it were. But still, it's a fun one. And this deck is about mill anyway, so who cares, right? Exile, mill. And that's another thing. It is exile. It's not put in your graveyard, which is what mill means. So even then, It still wouldn't work with Bruvac regardless. So let's go ahead. We have to exile cards until we have a total mana value of 20 or more. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. No, no. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oof, there were some good cards in there, including a Sanguine Bond. Yeah, that's a combo piece, so that's bad right off the bat. All right, let's move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, luckily that was all that was in the graveyard over there, so it was easy enough to remember. Now this is where it's going to really hurt somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. So that's definitely going to be more. Yeah, those were two really good creatures right off the bat I saw go into exile right now. That is horrible for that deck. So hey, let's make sure, right? Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value 20 or more. Yep, so that was done correctly. And boy, did that suck for everybody else. Haha, punks. And we can still do this, which we will. We will tap and make someone mill 2. Let's see. There's no express, threat, so we will just mill Dina, I guess. Oh, some good stuff there. Well, Soul Ring at least. We're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Going to play another forest for turn. All right, just because Vindictive, we're gonna go ahead and Epic Downfall. Bruvac, exile target creature with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So yeah, you're going back to the command zone, and you now cost 2 more to cast. I only have 2 mana left, but I do have 2 mana. Oops, wrong colors though, unfortunately. And I needed that black for that spell, so nope, can't do anything else. But you know what? We are definitely going to send Dina at you for a damage. Technically, it's Commander, so we'll denote that, but I really doubt that's going to be an issue with Dina. But pass. Now this is where it becomes arch enemy, and everyone starts going after that there person after Mill, because Mill just did a really big hit on everybody in terms of potential good cards and stuff like that. So no one is happy right now. Draw for turn over here. Ooh, I still did not draw a land. However, I did, thankfully, draw. Wow, I just cannot speak today. A 2 mana cost spell that actually uses the colors. We're going to tap for Winged Sliver. All slivers gain flying. That's a really good one. Actually, flying on slivers is extremely good. We're going to pass. Going to play Canyon Slough. It comes in tapped, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't really feel the need to play anything. Not that I don't feel the need, but there's no benefit to playing any of these set spells without Wauki on the field to at least do damage from them. So, yeah, but we will go ahead and ping you justifiably for 1 and then pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Okay, so for everyone's benefit, I did not draw a land, so I cannot recast Bruvac right now. So that's good for everybody else. I'm going to tap 1 for Elixir of Immortality. Pay 2, tap it, gain 5 life, shuffle Elixir and your graveyard into the owner's library. Really good for a deck like this, and actually it probably should be in Wauki now that I think about it. Because what it does is, Mill is great, especially against 1 or 2 people, but against an entire table, 3 opponents, or worse than that if you're playing with 5 or more people, most Mill is targeted. Only a handful of spells mill all of your opponents. So you can spend your entire hand to, take a person out of the game, but then that's it. Then you're screwed. You're done. You've lost all your gas. You're not be able to, unless you have a good card draw on the deck as well. you're not going to be able to get the more mill spells you need to get everybody else. Whereas grabbing your graveyard back is a nice way to get the fuel back. So we will go ahead and pass, untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to play Temple of the False Gods, a much bemoaned card that I still say is good in the right situations. All right, we're going to actually tap that because it is online. So 1, 2, and then 2 green for Arasta of the Endless Web. Favorite spider creature of mine here. 3/5 with reach. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. Regrettably, I don't have those tokens. I should get them. And this is a really important card to have against these two decks specifically, because he is mainly casting sliver creatures. That is all about instant and sorceries, and basically so is this. So if they start to go off, they better kill Dina, because Dina's going to have a tiny little army, or a nice sizable army of tiny 1/2 green creatures that could immediately crack back and deal some serious damage themselves. Yeah, especially since we have a blocker now, a nice one. We're going to go ahead and ping you for one more. I mean, it's not a lot of damage, but it's doing something. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Okay, we thankfully got a land. Deserted Beach comes in tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands, which we do, so that is extremely good. And just under circumstances, I'm going to immediately just Commander Sphere because we need to get some mana ramp and catch up a bit. Pass turn. Well, no, sorry. Attack, move to combat, ping you for 1, then pass turn. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. Now, do we have a land? We do. We are going to play Fabled Passage. Going to crack that to get another swamp. It'll come in tapped, but because we have 4 or more lands, it will untap. Shuffle library. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thankfully, we can finally get Wauki the Younger onto the battlefield. Very important. Reach lifelink 3/3, but more importantly, if another source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much +1 to that permanent or player. And whenever you cast an instant sorcery, Wauki himself deals 2 damage to any target. And because he has lifelink, when he deals that 2 damage, he's the one doing it, so you gain 2 life. Always good. Okay, and now I do in fact have a red permanent, so now this will start to trigger as well. I'm going to go to combat, swing for 1 more at you, and like he says, whenever an opponent draws a card. So here we go. Pass turn. We're going to go to untap, upkeep, we draw, we take a damage. Nice, going to tap it for Soul Ring, and then tap all 3 and Soul Ring for the commander attacks to replay Baruva. All we can do, but that was a nice, comeback. We're no longer shields down, so we can at least protect ourselves from all the little weenie 1/1s. And now that he is on the field, we are in fact going to tap. Target player mills a card, but it's now going to be mill 2. Who has been hurting us the most? Well, I don't like the fact that you're going to be, that you're making spiders off of me casting instants and sorceries. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and mill you for 2. And then pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Going to take a damage. Play another force. Really lean on the swamps. Not good. All right, we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 for Pestilence Cauldron. I can tap it. It's an artifact. I can tap it to discard a card and create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with. When this creature dies, you gain life. Or I can pay 1 and tap it. Each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life I gained this turn. Or pay 4 and tap it for exile 4 target cards from a single graveyard and draw a card. Which, you know what, I think I'm going to do. We're going to tap 4, tap this, and exile 4 target cards from a single graveyard in order to draw a card. Now, just make sure, here's the tricky part. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, we can't. That is upsetting. So we will not do that. Because it says exile 4 target cards from a graveyard. or from a single graveyard to draw a card. So it means so everybody has 3 or less in their graveyard. Everything else is exiled. So we really can't do that. Unfortunate. We could swing a Rasta at Bruvac, but he's a 1/4. That's a 3/5. He can just take the damage in Bruvac and not lose the commander. So there's no point. We will pass turn. Untap, upkeep. We're gonna draw a card and lose a life. 1, 2, 3 to play Bonder's Ornament. Actually, that didn't matter since Bonder's Ornament taps for any color. And then let's see if we have any 2s. We do not. Okay, actually, I was right the first time. We are going to keep that up. We're going to tap that because I'm going to tap Bonder's Ornament for blue to play Ponder. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library, draw a card. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to reveal them. You just have to look at them. And put them back in any order, which is nice. Yeah, I'm going to put them back in that order. Draw this card. Lose a life because I drew a card. And then I'm going to play Spire Garden. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents, which I do. There's no one over there. Okay, so at least I'm back up to speed, I think. Well, close to it in terms of mana. And I should be poised next turn to probably play the commander, most likely. Would be the smart move. My Winged Sliver does have flying. It would open me up, but I don't think anyone else is really considering Slivers a threat. So we're going to send it over there at you. You're going to take 1 more damage, and then we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Whoop, whoop, hang on. I caught myself. I need to figure out. Okay, turns out I, in fact, do not have spider tokens at all. So that's a little annoying. So I'm making a 1/2 spider off of Ponder. Right? And that is actually the only instant source we played. So while that's out, so that's good. But at least I remembered it. As I said, we have 2 mana left open, but nothing we can play. Now we pass, we untap, we upkeep, and we draw. Play another swamp over here. Going to tap 1, 2. Thermo Alchemist. Defender, Thermo Alchemist deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, untap Thermo Alchemist. He does regrettably have summoning sickness, so I can't start doing that this turn. But what I will do is tap 3 to play Honor the God Pharaoh. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. I guess we'll discard Chandra's Pyrohelix. I draw 2 cards and I amass 1, which is basically just going to make a 1/1 army. Now, before that actual army comes in, we do discard in terms of the casting cost, but we have a cast trigger. Wauki is going to deal 2 damage to any target. 1, 2, and I'm going to gain 2 life. Then then the cost is paid. Then we draw 2 cards and amass 1. 1, no real reason to attack because everyone has. Those 2 over there have decent blockers, so Wauki's 3/3 won't get through. I could attack. You know what? I think I will, just because we have already told in past episodes that I need to be more aggressive and keep the games moving. So we will attack you for 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. Guys like, whoa, what the heck? I only got 1 freaking sliver out. It's like, yeah, all it takes is 1. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, but that means I take a damage. I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to play Arcanus the Omnipotent. A 3/4 that says tap, draw 3 cards. A 4, return Arcanus the Omnipotent to its owner's hand. So if you have the open mana, that's a nice way to, bounce if someone tries to blow it up or something like that. And more importantly, it's going to be card draw, which is we're going to need. I will tap the Codex Shredder to have you mill 2 cards. 1 and 2. Duh. Okay, so I did in fact play a sorcery spell over there, so I do get another spider here. Remembering it, not quite as soon as I should be, but at least I'm remembering it within a turn or so. But for mill, that's all we can do. So we're going to pass, untap, upkeep, draw, lose a life. Undergrowth Stadium comes in tapped, but untaps because we have two or more opponents. And finally have an extra black, which is really good. All right, I'm going to tap this, discard Rogue's Passage, and make a pest. Now, Rogue's Passage is a great card because, pay 4, tap it to make a target creature unblockable. But Dina's not going to go for commander damage, like probably ever. So it might not even need to be in this deck. I might be able to take that out. I just put an extra forest or swamp in or something. Under normal circumstances, it's a great card, but I feel it's okay to just use that as the discard. Again, no real targets, but, we do, like I said. These technically do not have Summoning Sickness because they've been around enough, but we don't need to go crazy with the attacks. Although, there's no point in holding back, I guess. Sorry, we're going to send them at you. 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I got to remind myself that it's all me, right? Because in a real game, I would be hesitant to do that. While I do know what Slivers can do, and he's got enough now that he can play his commander, so they'll be indestructible, blah, blah. He hasn't done anything all game. I don't like picking on people like that. There's no point. Let them have a chance to play Magic. That's what we're here for, right? We're here to play Magic and have fun. If you're sitting there with one permanent on the battlefield, basically, and that's all you can do because you're getting screwed over by something, you're not having fun. I don't care what people say. Oh, let it roll off your back. No, you're not having fun. What's the point? So give them a chance to have some fun and play some cards. However, in this situation, we don't want 3-hour games, so attacking like that makes more sense. I will pass. Untap. Upkeep, draw for turn. Take a damage. Now, as we said, we're going to go white, red, green, blue, and black to cast Sliver Hive Lord. Slivers you control have indestructible. 1 mana open. I do have flying, so I can swing anywhere. And to be fair, you haven't been milling me, but you just clucked me for a lot, so you're going to take a damage. It's not much, but it's something. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. That was a creature over there, so I don't have to worry about the spiders, but that could be a concern now, because this is the deck for instants and sorceries. Dragon Skull Summit comes in tapped unless you control a swamp or a mountain. I, in fact, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Play. Angrath's Marauders. A 4/4 creature. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. What's cool is that's still going to be doing that. Oh my gosh. Stupid, stupid, and also, hey you, Unskilled Commander. Stupid. Poor Wauki has been buffing this damage the entire time he's been out. Not those first couple rounds, which is fine, but the last one at least. It's not a May ability. Well, let's make sure. No, it's not a May ability, but it's a stupid misplay. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like after doing this for so many months, I need to kind of stop being so hard on myself because I'm not in front of this deck when everyone else is taking their turn. Now, that's not to say I don't do that in real games too and forget my triggers and be like, oh shoot, you were supposed to take damage last turn or when you drew a card or whatever. But a lot harder when you're juggling 4 decks. So I'm going to say this round, everybody did take the extra damage, but that's it. We're not going to try and rewind it or figure out how far back I missed. Now I have to be cognizant of the fact that this is going to be 2 damage every time they draw a card, not just 1. All right, so, but more than that because now it's double. We are now going to tap Thermal Alchemist to deal 1 damage to each opponent, but Torwalkie is going to make that 2 damage, but Angrath is actually going to make that 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Torwalkie is cooking with some gas. I did not play an instant sorcery, which is nice, so no extra spiders for you. And we are tapped out, so we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Now it's going to get messy. 2 damage, doubled to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, off of drawing 1 card. Not cool. Can we do anything about Torwalkie or the Parasite or the Angrath Mirage? Bad thing is they're all creatures, so creatures are really easy to get rid of. Okay, well, we're going to do this at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cut your losses. Target player mills half their library rounded down. But Brewback's out. That means it's going to be double that. So rounded down. That was still all on Brewback's turn. He passes. Untap. Upkeep. Draw for turn. However, that's still in effect. So we're going to draw, take 2 damage, double to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now she's setting her sights onto that enemy because that's annoying. I think we're going to go ahead and just start off by paying 2 to cast down, destroying this thing. Now, obviously, oh wait, no, stupid. Destroying Angrath. The doubling is going to be the worst problem long term. Destroy target non-legendary creature that is not legendary, so there you go. I will then tap another 2 to play Hunt for Specimens. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token that if it dies, you gain a life. If I had it, oh, I do have enough mana. Oh, hot dog. We will tap 4. Discarding. No, I don't have to. Pay 4, tap this to exile 4 cards from an opponent's graveyard. Doesn't matter, but you're basically the best target for that. So we'll do this so that you can't get Angrath back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are exiled. And I get to draw a card. But, however, I'm going to draw, take 1, which is 2 now. 1, 2. Okay, nothing I can play, but card draw is always card draw. Alright, I have yet to actually gain a life in Dina's deck. Not good. But we've got ourselves some creatures, and we've got ourselves an open player. This is Summoning Sickness, but the rest are not. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, technically, that could go swinging in, but there's no point in swinging Dina. So there you go. We're going to swing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're down to 13. We got 2 blockers, and we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw, return. Take 2 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play Reflex Sliver. All slivers have haste. And then tapping these 2 for white and 1 other to play Sinew Sliver. All slivers have +1/+1. So slivers are now indestructible, flying, haste, and +1/+1. So that means you are a 6/6 commander in the air. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just enough to kill you. However, you haven't really done anything to me, but you have been knocking everybody down quite a bit with all that stuff. Yeah, I think the smart move, well, I mean, we saw what Brewback can do. So it can smack us down, but it now costs 7 to play it. He does not have 7 mana, and he's not going to have 7 mana on his next turn. So he can still play mill spells, but they're not going to be as powerful, theoretically. So I say, well, nope. What have I said? We've got to start speeding up these things and stop spreading out the love. We got to focus. So, yep, 13 damage there, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there you go. Boom. You are done, Brewback. That's what you get. You've paid for your hubris, my friend. But we are wide open here on Slivers, and now Slivers is showing, yo, I can do 13 damage in a clip, and that's just for right now. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. All right, so what we're going to do, let's try and play this smart. We're going to tap Thermal Alchemist to deal 2 damage to each opponent. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then I'm going to tap a black to play Cremate. Exile target card from a graveyard and draw a card. Heck, I don't even care. I'll exile my own card at this point. But I get to draw a card. However, before that resolves, I apologize. Fast triggers. If I played Instant Sorcery, I get to untap Thermal Alchemist, and Wauki is going to deal 2 damage to target, and I gain 2 life. So, 2 damage to you, 1, 2. I gain life, 1, 2. That resolves, I, do the thing. Do the thing, Julie. Now, I'm going to tap Thermal Alchemist again. Deal 2 damage to each opponent, 1, 2, and 1, 2. I will then tap a red to cast Firebolt. Firebolt deals 2 damage to target creature or player. All right, cast triggers first. I'm going to untap that. He's going to deal 2 damage to you. I'm going to take 2 damage or gain 2 life. Then Firebolt is going to deal 2 damage, which is 3 damage because of Torwaki. 1, 2, 3 to you. Boom. Tap that again. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, we got just enough. This is good. Well, not enough to win, but keep going. I will wait. Yes, okay. Tapping 2 red and 1 other to play Bolt of Keranos. Deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and you scry 1. Cast triggers. This untaps. You take 2 damage. I gain 2 life. Bolt of Keranos is going to deal 3 damage to you. 1, 2, 3, and I scry 1. Yeah, we'll leave that there. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and tap him. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm then going to tap my last. Oh, shoot. I guess I can't do that. I must have miscounted. Well, that's unfortunate. Right at the finish line, I couldn't cross it. That's unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I had 5 total, and I needed 6. I didn't realize that. Although I didn't play a land, did I? Now that's the kind of thing. This is where it gets iffy. It's like, oh, you didn't play a land. It's like, I don't think I did though, right? Because I untapped, I drew a card, and then I immediately started playing because I tapped and started playing this. I'm almost positive I could play this mountain if I played something, but I don't remember playing any of these other lands this turn. So I believe I can now, in fact, play Molten Blast. Molten Blast deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker or destroy target artifact. Let's see. Blowing up a creature might help, but I can't blow up any of yours because they're indestructible. Blowing up yours, I could blow up Dina, and that's about it. I think what we're going to do is blow up your Bonner's Ornament. Well, hang on, do things in order. So cast trigger on this instant, untap there. You take 2 damage, and I gain 2 life. Then it destroys the artifact. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap that one more time. 1, 2, 1, 2. That is all Torwaki can do. That was a very solid turn. I'm happy with it. And he's up to 50 life, so it's going to be tricky for Dina to pull this one off. I don't think, unless she gets an infinite combo, which could trigger, I don't see how she's going to be able to come back from that. But we're going to pass. Nope, nope. You're dead. Untap. Upkeep, draw. I'm still taking 2 damage. So that is something we need to deal with. Yeah, this isn't looking good. Okay, that card's not going to be helpful anyway. All right, we're going to tap 2 black, and then 1, 2, 3. Palace Siege, declaring dragons. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. If we last long enough, that might help buy us some time. We will then tap a green for Elvish Mystic. 1/1 that can tap to add 1 mana of green to your mana pool. All right, so we got a 3/3 over there, a 1/1, and a 1/1 army. We've got a bunch of 1/2s and a 3/5. So at this point, oh my gosh, yes, we caught it, we caught it. I played quite a few uh, instants and sorceries over there. We're not going to rewind, but we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So, okay. We played 4 during our turn, which means 4 more 1/2 spiders. That is a bit of a difference. That does now, there are 1/2s against 50 life total, but that's something. So they were on the battlefield at my upkeep, so they are not summoning sickness. We did the other things. We played the Palace Siege. We played the Elvish Mystic. Now we go to combat. We're going to swing all of them at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? I've got a 1/1 here. If I block, that's been doing some work, so we really can't lose that. The only thing we can do is we can block a 1/2 with Wauki, so that would die. And we can block, with the 1/1 army, killing one of the pests. However, when the pest dies, you gain a life, and with Dina on the field, yeah, I don't want to make it look like she's in the command zone again. Whenever you gain a life, each opponent loses a life. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gets through. That's a big hit. So we are down to 39. Not in jeopardy of losing necessarily, but that's still a solid, hit to be considered. That is all Dina can do, unfortunately. We don't have the mana to activate this. Yeah, this card is not useful right now, especially since we only have one opponent. So I'm going to tap this, discard a card, and create a 1/1 pest. So we now have another pest to block with and deal damage with. Pass turn. All right, Wauki, you gotta go. We gotta do it. Draw for turn. I forgot I knew what that was, so I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh, I guess it should work, actually. We're gonna tap 1, 2, 3 for Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. The 2/2 creature. Whenever you cast a red spell, untap Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. First things first, we're going to go ahead and tap Alchemist to deal 2 damage to you. Oh, darn it, I thought that was going to be enough. Okay. Regrettably, it has to be Chandra that does the damage. Sorry, you tap Chandra and deals 1 damage to target player. If she has dealt 3 or more damage this turn, you exile her and flip her into her Planeswalker form and put it back on the battlefield. I was like, oh, this is going to be 4 damage. She'll flip. It's like, no, the 3 of it has to be from her. So this still won't work, but she'll still do damage. So we will, of course. Oh, no, we can't. She's a creature. She doesn't have haste anyway. So all we can do is tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pyromancer's Goggles, which for her. Tap to add 1 red mana. When that mana is spent to cast an instant and sorcery spell, copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Unfortunately, I have not cast an instant sorcery, so he doesn't untap. He doesn't do any damage. Not looking great. We'll pass. Okay, that's a bit of an overstatement. Doesn't look great. It's not. It's 13 versus 39, so it's not that bad. Untap. Upkeep. Upkeep trigger. She gains 2 life, and you lose 2 life. But I gained a life. I gained life. So you lose another one. So hey, that's something. Draw a card for turn. Although, unfortunately, now we are top decking. We will tap 1, 2, and 3 to play Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. You can pay 5 mana. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. So the nice thing is that whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So the point is, if I had the right mana, which unfortunately I don't at this point. Still do not have enough black mana to do that trigger and give everything lifelink, because that could probably have done it, or close to. But we're still going to go to the combats because we need to. Swinging all of these again. All of these. You know what? Swing him too, because why the heck not? So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 damage coming in. And these are 1/2. So I will block a 1/2 with Chandra. I will block a 1/2 with Wauki. And I do not want to risk losing Parasite, so I will have to take everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another 10 now. That's still a big hit. Neither of the pests died. There's no other life gain triggers going on the stack right now. So here we go. Pass turn. And regrettably, we're top decking on both characters. So it's going to be really difficult to see if something can happen here. So we're going to draw. Yeah, a land, as I expected. Because that's always how oh my gosh. Do you guys get that? And I understand, oh, we're the game's how many turns in, getting lands makes sense. And you kind of, but it's like right when you are at the cusp of something like this, it's like, I could win. I just need one or two more of my actual spells. Boom, you're getting lands. That always happens to me. Does it happen to you guys? Let me know in the comments because it feels like it's a very common occurrence and it's annoying. Ooh, I don't know if I got the parasite trigger on that. I didn't because I was focusing on the upkeep trigger. So when I drew the card, I didn't do it. So I did lose 2 life off of parasite. So there's that. So unfortunately there's only so much we can do. We're gonna tap 1, 2, and then of course we're gonna tap her to 1, 2 again. It's like depending on how much life gain they can do. But here's the thing. Here it is. On their turn, he's going to be able to activate Vito's second ability and gain a ton of life and do a ton of damage. So it's not looking good. I don't think Milwaukee's going to win. That is crazy. And what's really interesting is if you think about it, these two decks were the ones that we thought were dead early on because of Mill. We're like, oh, they both got hit from that spell. Oh man. And then no, these ends up being the last two standing, which is interesting. But there's nothing. I can't sacrifice anything. They draw cards. Yeah, no card draw abilities at all right now. Unfortunate, but pass. So here it is. This is the question as to exactly how much damage we're able to do right now. So we're going to move to our upkeep, untap everything. Upkeep trigger, we're going to gain 2 life, and you're going to lose 2 life. We're going to draw a card, but then I'm going to lose 2 life because I drew a card. And okay, yeah, oops, these untapped as well. Oh, but okay, see, I can't play this if I want to do his ability. So we're going to tap 2 black, 1 other, and Temple of the False Gods for a total of 5. To activate this, creatures I control gain lifelink until end of turn. We're going to send everybody and the kitchen sink at your face. Now, see, I don't think we should send Vito. He's only a 1, and Torwaki can destroy him, which would then, I mean, the effect would still work because they have lifelink until end of turn, so that's not the concern. But and damage happens all at once, so he should still see the damage, so blah, blah. Things would resolve that way. But it would cost us the game in the long run. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. It is getting less and less because we're blocking. But now I don't have that blocker, so Torwaki can only destroy one of these. And the damage is still lifelink, so it's still 10 damage. So let's do it this way. First things first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 damage gets through. 9. That is all lifelink plus the one that blocked. So 10 life gain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I gained a life, so each opponent is going to lose a life. But more importantly, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses exactly that much life. I gained 10 life. You're going to lose 10 life. You're down to 4. Wow. If Torwaki gets anything solid, well, it would have to be a big spell that would allow it to work right. So probably not. I think Torwaki's done, but we'll see. So yeah, let's do that. We're gonna tap, pay 1, and tap Pestilent Cauldron. Each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gained this turn, which is actually 12. And hang on, I gained that life at the beginning. This was so that's actually another 2 lost. So you're at 2 life, and you're gonna mill 12 cards. There's no, glad I caught that. There's no other end triggers. He didn't play any kind of, yeah, I haven't played any sorceries or instants for a while, so that's no new spires. So we're gonna pass and then mill those cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, what? Okay. Hey, there's just got will. But that wouldn't help right now because nobody's got any cards in hand. But all right. Wow, that's a small deck right there. All right, we're gonna untap. We're gonna upkeep. We're gonna draw. Oh my God. That, I don't know if that's actually going to do it, but it might do it. Okay. The problem is we don't have a lot of mana open, or mana period. Okay, so first things first, right? We're going to tap Thermo Alchemist to deal 2 damage to you. 1, 2. We're going to tap Chandra to deal 1, 2. We are then going to tap 1, 2. That one's not a good one to do. 3. No, one more. See, that's the problem. 4 to play Past in Flames. Each instant sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback. Until end of turn, the flashback cost is equal to its mana value. I think this might do it, guys. Holy crap. That milling just got us there. That is the kind of crazy stuff that you like to see. Wow, this is crazy. I like it. Let's see what happens, right? So cast trigger. We're gonna untap that, and we cast a red spell, so we're gonna untap that. Torwaki's gonna deal 2 damage to you, and I'm gonna gain 2 life. Now, every instant and sorcery in my graveyard has flashback, so we only have 5 mana left, well 6. So that just means we gotta look for all of the 1-drops. Okay, I believe I have enough, and we got some craziness going. Well, yeah. Okay, so next step, we're going to tap this to deal 2 damage, tap her to deal 2 damage, and if Chandra has dealt 3 or more damage, she has, we flip her. Say hello to Chandra, Roaring Flame. Comes in at 4. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and +1 her to 5. Dealing 2 damage, buffed by Torwaki to 3 damage to target player. 1, 2, 3. Insane. We're going to tap this for 1 red mana that says when you use it to cast instant or sorcery, you can copy it and make new targets. We're gonna play Firebolt again. So I don't even know how much further we need to go in. So we're casting Firebolt, we're untapping that. Kawaki is dealing 2 damage, we're gaining 2 life. That's going to deal 1, 2, 3 damage to you. And we copied it, so it's going to deal another 3 damage to you. 1, 2, 3. We don't even have to go any further. We don't have to do any more tapping of Thermal Alchemist or anything. Or use any of these other 1-drops. Boom! Wow. Korwaki pulled it out in the end by pure luck. Just pure luck on the cards. And again, this is my game against myself, blah, blah. The smart move would definitely have been to get rid of Torwaki and or Parasite early, like really early, with some of the spells. She had a lot of exile and destruction for creatures. Some of them were like non-legendary, so I couldn't have targeted Torwaki with them, and I didn't. That's the point, but I couldn't. Um, but there probably should have been a way someone should have focused on this more. But with Mill doing all that craziness, you got to pick a target. You get Mill very nearly killed 2 people in one turn, so everybody needed to get rid of that. Slivers started to look okay, but then, just couldn't handle it. All right, that was a fun game. That was a back and forth at the end. I liked that because that's what I think of as magic, A game like this, maybe a little, okay, sure, some more interactions maybe, but this was fun. Like, this is how you're with your friends, you're laughing. It didn't take that long. Like, once I edit out, the pauses I put in myself that you guys should hopefully not see, it's going to be under an hour, I hope. So that's a solid game. It's a perfect time game for a bunch of friends. And that back and forth, these two characters would have been like, oh man, like, yeah, they would have been started rooting for people, like, oh, get him, get her, get him. And then that come from behind. It's like, oh, I'm gonna mill you for 10 or 12. And then you're like, okay, this is my top deck. Oh crap, I just top decked a perfect card. Everyone would have flipped out on that. So that's my definition of magic. That's the fun I like to have and like to see in a group when you're playing. What about you? Would that have been a fun game for you guys to participate in? Would you have enjoyed that or would you have been bored? All right. I hope you saw some cool cards. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time.